All right. Okay, recording in progress. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for all being here. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Melissa McQueenie, and mindset is my jam. So you guys are doing me a huge favor tonight because I was asked to speak to a college course next week on mindset, and I realized that I haven't talked about this in this sort of forum for a long time, and I needed a refresher. So thank you guys for all being here and sort of letting me talk about this again. And it's crazy when I was thinking about why I haven't talked about this in so long and why I haven't presented in this way. It sort of is a mindset thing. And I was just thinking about, I always think about how I want to show up in the world, and knowing that when you challenge yourself and when you decide to push fear aside and just do the things, that you grow. And I wanted to mention that during 2020, when the quarantine happened, I sort of took that year or that time and ran with it. And a lot of good things happened to me. I formed a lot of connections. I feel like I had a really good mindset at that time. I think 2021 for me was really a struggle. And I realized this in the last couple weeks when I was thinking about my life and my mindset. And, it's crazy. I feel like it was almost like 2021 was almost like a PTSD from the year before. And it was sort of, we're not normal yet. And, 2020 was like this weird time where you could really be with your family and sort of slow down and enjoy life. And 2021, we were sort of in this in between. And I think it did a number to me that I didn't realize. And I think that's my number one thing is mindset is a lot of self-awareness and being able to really look at what you're doing and how you're doing and navigating those waters and being able to change it and channel it if you need to. And that's what this is all about for me now, is being here and doing the things that fire me up and get me excited and help me grow. Because when I opened my computer to print out my little cheat sheet, I haven't done this presentation in a year. It was March of 2021 the last time I did it. And when I tell you mindset is my jam, I used to do mini challenges of mindset. I used to do webinars monthly. So that's just my little lesson to you is, be aware enough to know where you're struggling and at least be brave enough to say, okay, something's got to change. So here we are. And I want to share with you all of the things that have helped me through the years and what continues to help me to this day. And number one is personal growth. So let me give you a little background about me too. Is I am a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist in Connecticut. And I have if you guys could just mute yourselves. I'm just hearing a little noise. I'm a licensed therapist, and it's crazy because I know there's some therapists in the room, and something that you don't get taught in school for therapy is mindset, and mindset is everything. So when I joined as a coach in 2016 was when they said, personal development is part of your coaching journey. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like I read Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus in high school, and I really learned a lot. So I'm like, all right, I can really get down with this. And my first PD book was The Compound Effect. That was in Megan's email that my coach sent to me. So my first book was The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And to this day, I go back to that book all the time. It taught me so much about not just being in this environment of network marketing, but just about growth in general. And, mindset is important, not just in coaching, but it's also really important in being a challenger too. And what do we know about coaching is when we are doing our best, we are being awesome challengers. So I really try to trickle in personal growth and personal development to all my challengers too, because that's really where you're going to make the most gains, is doing it every day consistently. And this is books, podcasts, audiobooks. I love to do trainings, and really like something that really helps me is when I'm actually doing what I'm listening to. And I know this is not going to be fun for some people to hear, but if you're just listening to a podcast and you're not implementing the things that you hear in the podcast, or if you're like me, who will read a book and it will have like at the, at the end of the chapter, like, this is what you should do step by step. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to go to the next chapter. Like, you have to do the things, you have to actually do them. And that's why I'm a really big advocate for trainings, because they make you do them, right? Like, Leah and a couple girls are with me in a training right now. We have to do our homework. We have to do our homework. And that's what helps you to really dig through these concepts and analyze your life, and then make adjustments as you need to. So what I do every day is I definitely read a little bit of a book every day, at least 10 pages of a personal development book. And what you really want to do is pick something that is that you're dealing with at the time, right now. Like, if you are dealing with we were just talking about diet culture. If you're dealing with, coming from diet culture and not being able to love your body, you might need to pick a book that's going to fit you. What is that book that Rachel's reading? Because that was Eat to Love. Yeah, Eat to Love. If you're dealing with depression, you have to pick a book that's going to focus along those lines. So like, if you're depressed and you're reading like High Performance Habits, that may not line up. You have to do something that's going to be impactful for you at the moment. And another thing to add is, what's speaking to you right now may not, yes, Sarah. What's speaking to you right now may not speak to someone else right now. And if maybe you're in a different point of your life later down the road, that book might speak to you. So it has to be something that's speaking to you right now. Audible is really helpful. I love to like walk the dogs and listen to books on audio. I love podcasts. I love short podcasts that like get to the point, like, Melissa, do your shit. Let's go. You're awesome. Those kinds of things. And, a big thing for me is also shutting off the news. I know the news can be terribly depressing, and I go to my parents for an hour a week when my daughter has gymnastics, and I love my time that I get to sit with my parents, but I hate the fact that the news is on the whole time, because I'm like, oh my God, COVID rates are going up. We're all going to die, and just terrible things. Like, it's awful. So limit the news, like what you're absorbing. And this doesn't just go with books and audiobooks and podcasts. Whatever you're absorbing, news, the people you're around, what people are talking about, that's all coming into your mind. So you really want to be very mindful of what you're exposed to. You can't change your first thought, but you can change your second thought. That has helped me so much. So, we can't change our first thoughts, but we can say, okay, and this has helped me so much, especially with body image. Sometimes I do have those moments and I'm like, oh crap, I look bad in that. And then I'm like, wait, no, Melissa, you're working so hard. You're so strong. Like, you can catch yourself. So don't get hard on yourself if you say those negative things first, as long as you can go in and say, all right, this is the reality, or this is what I'm working towards, or this is, these are the things I want to say to myself, because we want to make sure that we're talking to ourselves in a really positive way. If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. Affirmations I do every day too. So part of my morning is my Miracle Morning. And if you guys have never read the Miracle Morning, I highly recommend it. I've been doing that since I read that book in 2017. And it's basically personal development reading, gratitude, affirmations, visualization, meditation, exercise. I think I missed one, but I can't remember right now. So affirmations, I have affirmations that I had my I've had a business coach help me write. I probably need to update those. I have recently added to them, but they are specific to my own goals and my things that I struggle with. So it's about, being patient with myself and being worthy and deserving. So if you, find that you're struggling with certain things, you may need to remind yourself daily that, you are growing, you're on the right path. And if you need some help writing one, I'm happy to do that with you. Um, watching how you talk about yourself and others, that's a big one. I just touched on, how you talk to yourself. And if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. But that takes time and it takes work. And you just have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient, give yourself grace. Learning how to rewire your mind and how you talk to yourself takes a lot of work, but you can definitely improve it. So some of my favorite PD recommendations are these are really out of date. I should have updated this, but this is Miracle Equation. I love Miracle Morning. I love, that's the same author, Hal Elrod. Some of the more recent books that I've loved is Soundtracks by John Acuff. He, in the book, especially if you're like an overthinker, this book is fantastic. And he has a series of, it's a 30-day challenge where you wake up every day and you read yourself in the mirror. It's sort of like the high five habit, like in terms of, it's soundtracks. And that's another one, high five habit, but he has you read certain affirmations to yourself every single morning in the mirror, and they're really empowering. And then the same thing at night, and it's a 30-day challenge. I should really start it again, but it makes a difference because you start your day off. Yeah, you're doing it. Yeah. What? I see you. You like that. You like it. It snaps. Okay, so yeah, those are some books. Soundtracks, I have lists of them, but remember, you want it to be specific to you. So if you need recommendations, I'm happy to send them, but it's more helpful to know like what you're dealing with at the time, so I can help sort of direct you. Okay, so the number how to change. Okay, all right, cool. Invest in your health. So most of us know this. We know how important exercise is to our mental health, and how this sort of navigated or played out for me is I fell in love with running. You guys know, well, most of you know my story. I started off with running in 2014, and that really set me on this path of like goal setting and really pushing myself and doing crazy things and being part of a supportive community that also did crazy things. If you guys are runners, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing like them. Sarah's laughing. And then I fell in love with strength training. I fell in love with Beachbody and doing the programs and pushing myself even further. So part of that is setting goals, failing at your goals, and being okay with that. And, I think that running and programs and workouts definitely teach you all about failing, because we do it all the time. And we have to be okay with it, right? We fail with our nutrition, we fail with our fitness, we fail with our social media, we fail all the time. And as long as we're taking a lesson from it and learning from it, then we're going to grow from that. So it's really being okay with failing. And, along with investing in yourself and exercise and all of that is managing stress. That's huge. And taking care of your mind, your body, and I know for me, like, so as I said, I'm a therapist, and when I fell in love with running and then subsequently Beachbody, I realized like how freaking simple life is. Like, we have these ways of overcomplicating things. And to this day, my clients are like, wait, what? You want me to do gratitude? I have suicidal ideation. You want me to do gratitude? And obviously there's different variations of mental health, but yes, I want you to move your body every day. I want you to pay attention with what you're putting in your mind. I want you to intentionally plan your day and plan your time and be aware of who you're surrounding yourself with and how this is all affecting affecting you. So, I think that once you pay attention to these things, set these continuous goals for yourself. And I wonder if I can turn the chat off because it's distracting me. I don't know. I'm going to put it to the side. Okay. So yeah, so I think that exercise has so much more of an impact on mental health than we will ever realize. So keep doing your workouts, keep setting those goals for yourself, be okay with failing, and just keep it moving. So another tip is intentionality and time management. This is huge for your mindset. What are your goals? Where are you going? What is your vision? What do you want to see in your future? I was thinking today, it's April vacation here for my kids. And I also was thinking earlier in the week, I have so many thoughts that we don't recognize sometimes where we've been and where we are currently. And I talked about this in my stories last week. I talked for so freaking long about having this big bed in my house, this big bed in my bedroom, because at our old house, we couldn't really have the sort of bed that I wanted. I have it now. And sometimes it will hit me. I'm like, I am in my big bed. I'm finally here. But day to day, I don't often say that to myself. I forget where I've been, how long I wanted that bed. So when you're thinking about your vision, where do you want to see yourself? And let me get back because I forgot where I was going. So April vacation, I'm sitting there with my daughter at the playground and I'm like, I remember crazy April vacations when I was struggling to find childcare, struggling to find a camp that would, be the hours that I needed to get to my job. It was either take time off of work or use my vacation time, or be really stressed. And I was often like, oh my God, school vacations were stressful. Snow days were stressful. I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore because I cast a vision and I created a life that I can work around my kids' schedules and holidays and snow days and vacations. And to be there in that moment today at the playground, I was like, holy shit, like I did that. I did this. So I want you to look at your future and say, what vision do you have for yourself? What do you want? What do you want your time to be like? How do you want to spend your time? I feel like time is the most valuable of commodities. And, I don't want to cry, but my oldest is graduating high school this year. If I could have started coaching like before she was little, I just can't even imagine how much more time I would have had with her. She was around when I was juggling all the shit, when I was balancing all the childcare. And what better gift can we give people than time with them? Madikit was my youngest. She said to me at the playground, or we were talking about our neighbor. She was wondering if the neighbor was on break this week because she hadn't seen him. And I said, he could be at a camp. And she was like, camp for April vacation? And I was like, yeah, because people have to go to work. And she was like, well, you don't. And I was like, yeah, because I created that for myself. And she said, well, that's a choice. And I'm like, it absolutely is a choice. But I'm like, wow, girl, you're freaking privileged. Like, you don't get what I did to get to this point. So set your vision. Know that you can create anything that you want to create. You just have to work hard at it. So pay attention to that and set your goals, set your visions, dream freaking big. We have one life. If you want to, take your kids to Disney World like I do every single year, if you want to be there for every April vacation or not have to worry about that, whatever your vision may be, it's yours. I'm not here to tell you it, but you can definitely work towards it. So when you're thinking about your goals, are you spending time doing the actions that are going to lead you to your goals? And this is a real gut check for me sometimes because I have these dreams of being debt free and, all of these things. Are you really working towards being debt free? And, for a while, I just talked about this with Laura recently, like last year, I was on a really great path with finances. I had all my ducks in a row, all my big plans, and then I don't know what happened. But I got to regain that hold. If I'm writing down in my journal every day, which I do, being debt free, I have to back that up with actual action. I have to go and look at my finances and figure out what I'm doing to get to that point. Because I can say, you know, any goal that I want. Yes, I want to, have a mansion. Well, what are you doing to get to that? What are you doing? And you have to be real with yourself. You have to constantly, I think when it comes to mindset, really be giving yourself those hard gut checks all the time, because otherwise you're not moving forward. Um, a time audit and a social media audit. These things can be really, really helpful, especially if you're one of the people who's like, I don't have time. I guarantee, some people say that to me, and I see in my stories every day that they watch my stories all day. I'm like, if you just stopped watching my stories, you could have done 5 workouts. So do a time audit, really get crystal clear. Where is your time going? Are you, watching 9 shows on Netflix? I know Brooke will love this, but I used to play Farmville like, it was my job. I I used to leave parties sometimes. I'd be like, Tuck, we gotta go. My farm's gonna like wither away. I don't remember what used to happen, but I'd have to harvest it and it would die. So, what are you doing? Is that what you want your life to be, right? Crops are withering. Oh God, we have to do something with that, Brooke, like a reel or something. Eliminate things from your life that aren't serving you or bringing you closer to where you want to be. And this stuff can be tough sometimes. Like I use this story a lot, but when I was big into running, I had friends all over the state of Connecticut that we would run together. And there were some times I would drive an hour to run an hour and then go out to eat for an hour and then drive back an hour. That was like 4 hours of my day just to run and have lunch, which is great for sometimes. But if you're trying to build a business, or you're trying to, be there for your kids, or you're trying to, I don't know, whatever you're trying to do, is that serving you? So I had to start saying no to a lot of things, and saying no is really something that can help you in the long run. And, I always tell this story. When I really started practicing saying no, I was like getting really excited about it. Like I would really get like excited. And I was at a race, and one of the things that we do at big celebrations is like put chalk all over the ground. And I hate chalk. Like I hate chalk. But before this day, I would always take the chalk and like write a word and be miserable. And I'd have all the chalk on my hands. And the lady, one of my friends came up to me and she was like, do you want a piece of chalk? And I was like, no. And she like took 5 steps back and she was like, oh my God, okay. But like, it felt so good to just say, no, I don't want the chalk. I have no interest in the chalk. I can still support these people without, doing the chalk. So get excited about saying no. You're protecting your energy. You're protecting yourself and your needs and your goals. And it feels freaking good. I said no. I say no to everything. I don't help with school things anymore unless it's something that really is serving to me, or my kids. But, for years I was vice president of the PTO. And what did that didn't make me a better mom. And I thought that it did. So my goal now is to be a present and loving and patient mom. Being on the PTO doesn't help me accomplish that. So I say no, no, no. Okay. Accountability. This is my favorite. And like, I'm preaching to the choir here. Like, who are you surrounding yourself with? You guys are all a bunch of badasses. And that's who I want to be around. I want to be around people who show up to freaking calls and want to rock their lives and set goals and continue to push themselves. And that's what you guys all are. So that's who I want to be around. That's why I make it my point to go to every single freaking event that we have, and, every team call that we have. That's why I'm on Zoom 90 hours a day, because I want to be around you people who have all the energy and who just inspire me. So who are you? I guess what I'll say is, who are you around other than us? And pay attention to that. And, you don't always have to cut people out of your lives like forever, but if they're not serving you in that time, or there's just somebody that's negative to you, if they're like an energy sucker, maybe they got to go for right now. And that could be anybody. That could be your family, like really like I guess like you just have to get really unapologetic about going after what you want. And that is what you have to do. You know, if you have something that you're fighting for, and I know for me, I cannot be around people who doubt me, or people who are more negative. Like, it just drains me, so I have to put up that shield and say, protect my energy. I cannot do this. Yes, take breaks, make boundaries. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I think about this like, I know Rob Dial, he has a great podcast. I know a lot of people listen to it, The Mindset Mentor. But one of the things that he talks about is not just who you spend your time with, but it's also the TV that you watch. It's also the music that you may listen to. It's everything that you're absorbing is messages to you. So make sure it's freaking positive, and make sure it's things that are, good for you to hear. I was telling Laura, this was a couple of months ago. I got obsessed. I love 90210, and actually Jenny Garth and Ian Ziering are on a TV show right now. So this means I really love you guys. But they started, Jenny Garth and Tori Spelling started a 90210 podcast, and I was so obsessed with it that that was all I was listening to when I woke up. I would still do my personal development reading, but I was obsessed with listening to the podcast. And I'm not telling you to give up all your guilty pleasures, but because I was listening to so much 90210 podcast, my brain was turning to mush. I was like losing belief in myself. I was like doubting the world. And I was like, oh my God, I have to stop listening to this all the time. I have to limit it. I've got to go back to my usual like mindset stuff, because I could tell how it was impacting me. So, I think I know you do, Brooke, and it's so good, but you just can't do it all the time, right? Everything in moderation, even 90210. So just make sure you're spending your time in an intentional way and knowing how those things are going to impact you. Accountability too is when you say when you set a goal or say that you're working on something, you're going to be held accountable to that goal. Anyone in here, if you say, hey, check on me, or Casey, I sometimes say, hey, where are you in the morning? Come to our Zoom. Like, if you want accountability, it's here for you. So, and this is in this community, but if you are not in this community and you want to find it somewhere else, then you got to access those people who are willing to give it to you and are willing to push you, right? But that's why we love social media. We are held accountable every time that we put something on there. People expect our freaking, now they expect our gut protocol meals or our empty containers or whatever it is that you post, so anything that you put, you're held accountable. I think that's it, guys. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, deleting apps, that's a big one. That's really, really helpful. I have the settings on my phone, like a I forget what it's called. There's a time limit. I have a time limit for my social media. But deleting apps can be really helpful too. And I have all my notifications off. So like, I had somebody say to me the other day, this boggled my mind for days. She said, because she's like a customer, so I check in with her, and she said to me, could you please not text me or message me until after 8 a.m. or something like that? And I was like, please don't tell me you have your notifications on for Facebook, like while you're sleeping. And she was like, oh no, I don't. And then I was like, wait, what? Like, why does it matter when you open? Like, who cares about when someone's sending you a message? You decide when to open it, right? Like, I was like, I don't get it. All right, guys, questions? Yes, that's very smart, Casey. That's you being in control of your mind. Well, if anyone has needs any book recommendations or anything like that, or help writing affirmations, I'm happy to help you. I hope you guys got something out of it. Oh, yes. Just say no. You are over, you are over, what's the right word? Extended.
Crazy, over crazy.
Or just like 4 days to respond to the request after the thing happens, you know, and you can be like, oh, sorry, I missed the message. Everybody else does that these days.
Yeah, that's true.
No, 1,000%. There's that woman on Instagram. She does like social network help. I don't know, reels and stuff. But she does the People Pleasers Express.
Who's that?
Oh God, nobody knows who that is. People
No,
Pleasers
it
Express.
sounds
I think I
fun
might
though.
know. Did she just recently do a thing about how like she made a big mistake a couple of years ago? Like she wears glasses. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's who. Yeah, she wears and she changed. She's got a couple different
Yeah, like
personalities that she
characters.
puts on.
Yeah.
And one of them is People Pleasers Express. You guys need to go follow her. She's like, because that's like what we are. Like that's, I mean, it's like our nature. I don't know where it started. I think I blame manners and having to be good, and I blame all that for my people pleasing. But yeah, it's just learning to be your own person and make your own decisions.
Yeah, for me, it's like I hear my mom's voice and everything. So it's like, it's always like, what would your mom do? What would your mom do? And my mom would do all of the things. And
I do
really
have one
well.
question. Melissa, did you get somebody like third party to do a social media audit of yours? I know you said social
Oh.
media audit, but I think you meant like watch who you're following. But it made me think of, did you pay somebody to like audit your?
No, I did do that through some group I was part of, but it's been a while now. You know, some
Paying
training
for
I
too
was
many
in.
groups. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I get it. I think, oh my gosh, I'm in leaders beta with Keith Callahan. I think he has somebody that'll do it, but I was just curious. I need to get somebody to do that for me.
Yeah. No, I think I was trying to say,
Watch who you follow and make sure they're positive.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
I get it.
And be aware of how much time you're spending on social media too. Yeah.
How much time do you put into your business every day?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
That's my least favorite question, because I never know the answer.
You're like dabbling all day. Yeah.
I mean, no, though. I'm really not. Maybe 3 hours at most. Yeah, I think 3, maybe.
You post your tracker so early, so I feel like you just get stuff done so fast.
I'm done. I mean, I'm done pretty much by
you host a live power hour for us and you show us what you do, because I feel like in a way like everybody's method are different, but I feel like these days I just kind of respond to whoever's talking to me, and I know that there's a better way to do it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I reach out to people. I sort of had like I'm gonna stop recording.